The Business Owners Podcast is brought to you by Business and Enever Group with your hosts, Linda Reid Enever and Clive Enever. In each episode, we talk to other business owners about their experiences, challenges, and successes. We'll also share tips and advice on how to grow your business and achieve your goals. If you're a business owner or you're thinking about starting a business, then the Business Owners Podcast is for you.
Welcome to the Business Owners Podcast. My name is Clive Enever, and along with Linda Reid Enever, I am your host. I am a business strategist, and I help people discover clarity to engage more effectively with more of their ideal client more often. Today, I'm having a conversation with Tricia Ong of Mintrix Virtual Assistance about making conscious choices and delegating. Hello and welcome, Tricia.
Hello, Clive. Fantastic to be here with you.
It's a pleasure to have you because through the years I've noticed that making conscious choices and especially delegating is often a bit of a problem for people in business, especially small business.
100%. We always hear the common saying where it's faster if I do it myself or no one can do it the way that I do it. So those are some of the common things we come across.
Funny how it takes us so long to figure out that we might be able to do it, but there are other people with expertise that allows them to do it more quickly, more efficiently.
That's it. We want to surround ourselves by good people who can help us along the journey.
There you are. And let us know, where have we found you today geographically?
I'm in Melbourne, northern suburbs actually, a suburb called Thomastown is where our office is located.
Ah, nice little part of Melbourne. But of course, you still get the opportunity of having 4 seasons in one day frequently.
Yeah, definitely. Even today, sky's blue right now, but I'm not sure for how long.
The wonderful weather in Melbourne. It gives us a great opportunity to have conversations.
Definitely. Sometimes indoor weather, sometimes outdoor weather as well. All in one day, all in 1 hour sometimes.
That's right. There you are. Yeah. How long have you been Mintrix Virtual Assistance?
We started the business, the virtual assistant side of the business, approximately 2 years ago now, back in 2024.
Very good. And so you actually provide virtual assistants for other people, or at least you source them for other people.
Correct. So virtual assistants are people based in another location. So in our case, this would be the Philippines. And we find people who are able to take a lot of work off the business owner's plate here.
So that would be rather handy. Saves employing somebody before you're ready, but you can have somebody who's doing things on a contract basis and free you up from those things that are really causing you to struggle.
100%, from things like paperwork, after hours admin, instead of having to go home every night and having a full inbox still, anything that you're doing from emails, paperwork, calls, data entry, Xero, whatever platform you're using for work management software, Monday, Asana, and the like. Those are all the administrative heavy tasks that all small business owners are juggling.
I think it's a valiant thing that you're doing, and we want to encourage you. And of course, we want to encourage our viewers and listeners. If you're thinking that maybe I'm working too hard, Tricia's the sort of person you should be talking to figure out maybe there's another way. But let's find out about Tricia. Is it coffee, tea, or something else?
It's definitely coffee. One of the reasons I guess I live in Melbourne, love all the cafe culture and things like that. So originally from Perth, Western Australia, moved over in 2017 where the nightlife was a bit better here, more things to do, more things to see. Opened up travel this side of the world as well. But yeah, coffee was one of the loves that, the reason why you get up on the early weekend and go out for brunch with friends and out and about.
You're certainly in the right place for that sort of culture, that's for sure. So are you an early bird or a night owl, or can you do a little bit of both?
Great question, Clive. So I would definitely say morning bird. Love the coffee. And I do have 2 little dogs that I try to take on a morning walk every morning as well. That's all part of that morning routine.
Very good. So what book are you currently reading, and why can't you put it down?
Okay. My book of choice is one that I've actually read a number of times. It's called Atomic Habit by James Clear. And the theme of the book is essentially to always continue to build good, healthy habits. And you have to do things a number of times before it turns into that habit. There's one particular analogy, if I've got a minute to explain this, which is the iceberg analogy, where it's the 1% that make the difference, and you don't always see the outcome straight away. So they talked about this ice cube in the book, where the author talks about an ice cube being in a freezer and call it negative 40 degrees, and it goes negative 35 degrees, negative 30 degrees, all these changes in temperature. That ice block actually doesn't change, although the surrounds are changing. Until you get to that 0 to 1, then it starts to melt. And I find that very relatable in business, where there's all these things that we're doing, and sometimes you're just waiting for that ice cube to melt because you haven't hit that 0 to 1 degree yet.
Yes, very good analogy. What's one word to describe your journey so far, Tricia?
My word of choice to describe my journey would be the word adventurous. And to elaborate on the word adventurous is because throughout my journey in business, I found that it's opened doors to do many different things, to try new opportunities. It's taken me to the Philippines, where I actually don't have cultural background from Philippines. It's where I chose to launch and grow the business out of. And so by going on adventures overseas and interstate, and now we're starting to work with clients in other states of Australia, that fuels my passion to do a bit of travel as well as continuous on the adventurous journey.
I like that idea of taking something that you enjoy doing and turning it into a business.
That's it. In my corporate life, I did a lot of business travel, but it's not really the same. But being able to travel, and I go back to Perth where my parents still live, and being able to travel to the Philippines and things like that, you're able to embrace yourself in other cultures and learn collaboratively how we can utilize different skill sets and different opportunities to help each other to grow and improve.
What's something special that you've learned through that collaborative learning?
Definitely the relationship. 2 of my girls, my virtual assistants, actually came from Philippines to Melbourne last year, and bringing them here and being able to take them around to visit our clients and show them our way of life as well. By collaborating together on that, it just opens the doors to the amount or the extra things that I didn't even think of that they could help me with. And it might be something simple, but taking them into a Bunnings, where in the Philippines, a hardware store is in a shopping center. It's a little bit like a little stationery shop in a shopping center. Yeah. And taking them to Bunnings, and they're like, oh, wow, okay, this is your hardware store. And taking them to, I guess, Dan Murphy's might be another interesting example, where in the Philippines, so you go to 7-Eleven and buy one bottle at a time. And here we've got the warehouse full of slabs and even a walk-in fridge. And it's just the cultural differences that by showing them our culture and our way of life enables them to help our clients to a different level as well, just by understanding.
Yep. Yes, it's all about that better understanding, isn't it?
It is.
Yes. So in your journey, adventurous though it's been, has there been any defining moments where somebody gave you a clue or a book gave you a clue and you were able to take that and incorporate it into your business and grow from that?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of books, and probably more listening to audiobooks than reading them myself. And so, Clive, I saw that you've got a number of books behind you that I was interested in that we're just speaking about as well. So I'm all for taking information that many people have spent years developing, refining, and seeing how we can apply that to our day-to-day business. Some of the things that I've found recently quite valuable is a book called $100 Million Leads. And there's a whole series on that book where we've taken some of those sales ideas and strategies and implemented them into the business. One of the defining moments, I would say, in the business was about 12 months ago, where we started launching Facebook ads, and that opened up a obviously new market aside from word of mouth referrals, which is how the business originated, where most small businesses do start. And through that journey, now we've had to obviously refine our processes and our procedures and our methodology so that we've got a lot more structure in the way that we're doing things. And that comes from a lot of the learning that I do.
Good. It's very important to find information and incorporate it if it's going to help. Being able to make that decision is pretty hard for a lot of people, which is where you come in, of course.
Yes.
But now you're doing all this work, you're doing all this traveling. How do you balance your personal life and your business life?
Excellent question. Well, I bring my dogs to work, that's for one. So aside from bringing the dogs to work, the balance is just being able to switch off. Having a different location for me really helps. At the beginning in small business, you start off working from home, but I very quickly identified that not having that defining split for me didn't work. So I moved into a co-working space and now we're in our own office. But being able to leave work at work, go home and have weekends and have a bit of a social life outside of the day-to-day work is always definitely really important.
Very good. Now, let's have a look at the business that you actually have. You source help for a business person. Very often, of course, they are small business people who are probably doing too many hours and they're trying to do everything because apparently that's what you have to do. And you're essentially in the business of saving people time and giving them the opportunity of becoming more productive, more efficient, more effective. Is that right?
100%. Yeah. So we want to help people to essentially get their time back, buy back their time. And the way to do that is to see where you are spending your time, do an audit or inventory on where your time's actually going. Things that are on the tools, where can you find more efficiencies? If you're doing a lot of time behind the computer, scheduling, organizing, liaising, follow-ups, that's a lot of work that you're doing back and forth. And we call that the micro admin task. It takes 2 minutes. It takes 5 minutes. But how many 2 minutes and 5 minutes and that context switch from one thing to the next thing that you're losing and not being effective? Business owners, I believe, should be focusing their time and energy on the higher level work, the strategy, growing your team, culture, leadership, and rather than the day-to-day administrative functions.
Yeah, it's very important in business to be able to focus on the end goal. And that means initially focusing on the work that's going to deliver the end goal, not doing all the tasks that somebody else can do better.
That's it. Yeah. And it's all about everyone being great at the thing that they're working on. So, for example, the tradies that we're working on, I find you started your business doing a little bit of social media, doing a little bit of maybe emailing clients and getting some leads in and converting and doing the sales yourself and quoting yourself, and then you're scheduling it yourself. And as you grow, you do all the HR paperwork yourself for your team, and then the team have to do their timesheets and payroll, and the list goes on. So, but all of a sudden you become that person who's doing every single thing along the way and not letting it go or not handing it over. And so where we talk to business owners is putting all of that onto a piece of paper. Okay, what actually needs to stay with you, which is fine, and what can we delegate immediately, and what can we delegate maybe in 3 to 6 months, and coming up with an action plan so that there's something tangible to work towards.
So you actually have a process you take people through to identify which tasks to delegate first.
Correct, yes. We've got a number of resources that help. We've got an ebook on our website where you can just download 100 different tasks a virtual assistant can help with. That's a good starting point to just sift through that data and see if anything jumps out. And then when they book into a discovery call with us, we can help them identify, these are the things that will have an immediate return on their time. These are the things that we can work towards in 3 to 6 months. And these are the things that may always stay with the business owner. So for example, paying employees, you wouldn't delegate that to a virtual assistant. Those are the sorts of tasks that would always stay with the business owners. But something like uploading bills to Xero and uploading receipts or filing emails or FAQ type questions on Instagram when people are DMing you, those are the sorts of things that you could delegate fairly easily at the beginning.
And you mentioned earlier, of course, that when we start out in small business, typically, we know that nobody else can do it anywhere near as well as we can.
Yeah.
So how can I, as a small business person, trust that this person that I'm going to be introduced to who can do this so fantastically is trustworthy enough for me to allow them to do it?
Look, it's an important question, and I'm really glad you asked it because it comes up in quite a lot of our conversations that we have with our clients. And the answer is this: it's a relationship that you will build with your virtual assistant where you might send them a task. For example, it might be invoice follow-ups. So at the beginning, you would tell them exactly how to do it, where to find the data, and this is your follow-up sequence or the process. If you don't have a process like that, we help and develop it, or we give you ours and you can tweak it based on, instead of following up after 3 days, follow up after 5 days. So we give you the foundations to work off. But when your virtual assistant starts to do that at the beginning, you'll check in with them every single time they do it, making sure that they've done it correctly. Then if they've done it 5 times correctly, maybe you drop down the level of checking to every second or third time. And once they've mastered it and every single time you've checked it's correct, then you drop it down to you check it maybe every 10th time and so on and so forth. So trust is built over time, like any relationship.
There you go. And of course, doing a simple check every second or third time, it uses a lot less time than trying to do the whole dash thing yourself, especially when we take into account, as you mentioned earlier, Tricia, changing from this mindset to that mindset, because while I was the salesperson 10 minutes ago, now I have to be the admin person, and then I've got to be the boss, and then I've got to change back to on the tools.
Yeah, the context switching is where you do lose a lot of time. And what we find helpful is just a very quick activity where we get the business owner to write down on a piece of paper the number 1, the letter A, the number 2, the letter B, and so on and so forth. You do that for about 10 letters. And then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, A, B, C, D, E, blah, blah, blah. And being able to do that very simple activity, and I hope I've explained it well enough here, is when you switch between letters and numbers, it's much slower than when you do all your numbers together and all your letters together. So that just goes to show, if you're jumping from text messages on your phone to your emails, to talking to the boys, to answering a call, that's a lot of context switching, and it fatigues you throughout your day as well. At the end of the day, you're feeling wrecked and still have a full inbox. So this is where we try to batch together activities so that it helps in not only efficiency and productivity, but takes a load off the business owner's plate.
Indeed. What's the biggest impact, Tricia, that you've noticed in businesses that you've helped take on somebody as a virtual assistant to take over some of the drudgery, if you like?
I think a lot of people go into it with thinking, oh yeah, we can delegate all these things and give me a list of these 10 things. But then after 3 months or 6 months of working with their virtual assistant, that's where the real magic happens. And that's where we've found that the scope just increases so much more, because that person has now learned your preferences, has now learned your favorites. They now know every Friday you do this, every Monday you have this. And there's a lot more structure because they've never had to work with someone or communicate. And so there's a lot of intangible things such as communication improvements, structure improvements, recurring tasks become a lot more streamlined. And that's where we start to systemize the business. And that would be a result of having someone who is asking proactive questions and saying, oh, can we do this? Or instead of, hey, we should post on Instagram, it's like, could we do a post on Monday and a reel on Friday? And that's just maybe just the start.
So it's not only somebody doing the legwork, it's actually somebody suggesting opportunities to grow.
Yes. So we do a lot of that training in-house where we will coach and guide our virtual assistants on asking the right questions. And we usually ask an A and B, yes or no type question and answer. Because when you ask a business owner, should we do LinkedIn or should we do Instagram? There's 50 other decisions that need to be made around that. But it's, can I suggest we do a brand kit and I'll send it to you by next Friday? Yes or no? Much easier. And then we've got templated brand kits, and plus Canva gives you half the data. And with ChatGPT or your preferred AI platform, you can get a lot of that information, where in the past it was a lot harder to make these suggestions.
Oh, very good. So, Tricia, how do you want to shape the future of the profession in your field? So, any dream projects that you've got or collaborations that you're trying to pursue?
Yeah, we're definitely trying to grow our business, grow our brand awareness as well. We want to be known for being the go-to person in industry when it comes to buying back your time, and when it comes to, I'm ready to grow my business through delegation, and this is the next step we want to take. And through that, we're doing a number of different expos interstate. We're starting to grow our team, not only here in Australia, but in the Philippines as well. And yeah, we've got a dream to have a representative in every Australian state in the near future.
Very nice. What advice would you give to someone else who's just starting out in this area or looking for a virtual assistant?
So I'll break that down into two questions. What I would recommend for people going into business and whatever service or product you're offering is to have those foundations. Once you have a bit of a systemization to your process, that's where you're able to scale and grow, compared to if you're more, I went out into business and now I offer this service, but then Joe Blogs asked if I do this, so I just said yes, and now I offer 20 different services. I would suggest that it's much better to systemize something that you're really good at and become more of an expert in that process. And then you can have maybe 2 or 3 processes of other services, but to just start there rather than offering too much at the beginning. And then in terms of virtual assistants, just to get started, is ensuring that you have good communication skills, good interview skills as well. You can even search out on Google or your AI platform, search top 10 common interview questions. You can start making sure that you have answers and that you're not going to get thrown off, making sure that there's no lies in your resume as well, because we catch people out on that. Oh yes, I know how to use Xero, and you've watched a 2-minute tutorial on Xero, you don't know how to use the software. So making sure that if you're going for a role where you do need to have the skills in a platform, that you understand it more, because if you get caught out, the chances are you will be, because a lot of agencies now, us and our competitors, are aptitude testing, because there's nothing worse than telling a client, yeah, they can use that program, and they can't. So there's a lot of skills-based testing, but there's a lot of education that you can do online these days through YouTube and other free channels as well.
That's fantastic advice, Tricia. Thank you. And thank you for joining us. But before I let you go, how can our viewers and listeners get in contact with you?
Yeah, on our website or our Instagram are 2 easy spots. So our website is www.mintrix, Mintrix, virtualassistance.com.au, or you can find us on any of the social platforms, mintrix.virtual.assistance. Slide into our DMs, have a look on our website. You can book into my calendar from there or download any of our free ebook resources.
There you go. Nice and easy to find you. That's great.
Amazing.
Thank you for that. And to our listeners and our viewers, thanks for joining us. And be sure to check out our back catalogue. It's full of gems, just like Tricia is. And come back next time when we're back with the Business Owners Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Business Owners Podcast. We encourage you to connect with us on social media and join our community of business owners at businessbusinessbusiness.com.au.